All right, welcome back to WMAC Now with your host Chuck Stevenson, coming at you with the full event preview for Invicta FC 51. Invicta FC is back. They got an event going down tomorrow night, Wednesday, January 18th. They're going to be at the Real Works in Denver, Colorado. They're coming at us with 8 fights. Count that, 8, topped off by 2 championship bouts. The Bantamweight title is on the line in the main event, and the vacant flyweight title is on the line in the co-main event. And I've been looking up and down these fights, and they've got a lot to offer here. So we're going to go ahead and preview all 8 of these bouts. Right there you have the full-size fight poster. Looks pretty good. You got the bantamweight champ Taneisha Tennant taking on Talita Bernardo, UFC veteran, in the main event. And then in the flyweight championship co-main event, you got Bellator veteran Kristina Williams taking on Ketlen Souza. It should be a good one. So first up, first bout of the night, we have a strawweight bout between 2 Invicta newcomers. Sayury Canon taking on Tanya Nijjar. Now, I've seen Nijjar fight once before for Combate. Sayury Canon is totally new to me. Let's go ahead and take a look at it here. So Topology has the stats a little bit reversed from the graphic there, but Nijjar coming in at 1-0, Canon coming in at 2-0. Nijjar coming in off of a submission win in her pro debut for Combate Global about 5 months ago. Canon hasn't fought in about a year and 8 months, coming in off of a decision win. Nothing else for Sayury Canon available stats-wise. Nijjar's out of Canada. She's 28 years old, stands 5 feet 2 inches, 157 centimeters tall. So I don't know anything about Canon. I've only seen Nijjar fight once. I don't feel comfortable making a pick here, so I'm not going to. That's just how it is. But best of luck to both ladies. Then we got a strawweight bout that should be interesting. Fatima Kline taking on recent tough season 30 veteran Laura Gallardo. Both ladies very good on the ground. Should make for some excellent scramble wars, possibly. Hopefully it doesn't turn into like a bad kickboxing match, which tends to happen sometimes when ladies, or when fighters, period, are both good on the ground, and then they just end up being a stand-up fight somehow. Looking at the stats here, the Archangel Fatima Kline coming in at 2-0. La Jefa Gallardo coming in at 4-1. Now Kline is coming in off of a win over Sydney Trio via TKO 7 months ago for Invicta. Gallardo last official fight was a year and 7 months ago over Helen Peralta via decision at CFFC. Now, she was on the Ultimate Fighter Season 30. She made it to the second round there. Defeated Catherine Paprocki via majority decision in the first round. And then in the second the semifinals or whatever, she lost a decision to Brogan Walker. Let's see here. No age available for Gallardo. Kline is 22. I'm pretty sure she's the younger fighter. Kline's going to have a nice height advantage here. 5 feet 6 inches, 168 centimeters to 5 feet 1 inch, 155 centimeters for Gallardo. Kline also has the height advantage, 67.5 inch, 171 centimeters to 64 inches, 163 centimeters. So as I was saying, this should be a really good ground battle here. Kline has been really getting it done on the submission grappling circuit lately between fights. Gallardo, pretty strong wrestler. So both ladies should be able to hold their own on the ground. Both ladies should be able to more than hold their own on the ground in this fight. So really it comes down to on the feet, I believe. In which case, I would give the edge to Gallardo. However, I really, really doubt that this fight stays on the feet for very long. And then I give the edge to Fatima Kline. So I'm going to go with Fatima Kline to win this bout. She doesn't have the experience that Gallardo does, but she has been more active recently, both in MMA, professionally, and, doing things outside of MMA, but related. So I'm going to go with Kline to win this one. Then we move down to the Atomweight division. Katie Saull taking on Rayanne Amanda. Katie Saull, she's fought for Invicta. She's fought for Combate. She's fought for a bunch of different promotions. And returning to Invicta, and she's taking on Dana White's Contender Series veteran, Rayanne Amanda. So this should be a good one. And it's in one of my favorite divisions, the Atomweight. So the Queen of the North, Katie Saull, coming in at 5-5. Rayanne Amanda coming in at 12-6. Now Saull's coming in off of 2 straight wins. She defeated Tamika Jones via armbar 11 months ago, and then scored a decision over Gloria Bravo in Combate 4 months ago. Rayanne Amanda coming in off of a win over submission just about 3 months ago. Before that was 3 months, a little over 3 months ago, lost to Denise Gomes via decision in the Contender Series. Rayanne Amanda does have youth on her side, 27 to 35 years old for Saull. Saull is the taller fighter at 5 feet 4 inches, 163 centimeters to 5 feet 2 inches, 157 centimeters for Amanda. Reach advantage, slight reach advantage also goes to Katie Saull. 63.5 inches, 161 centimeters to 62 inches, 157 centimeters for Rayanne Amanda. So Invicta is kind of dubbing this one like a battle of the arm bars because, last time we saw Katie Saull in the Invicta cage, she won via arm bar. And you look at Rayanne Amanda's record, and 3 of her last 4 wins are via arm bar. Amanda certainly has the better record on paper, at least. But you look at a lot of her wins, and it's over someone who's like 0-1, 0-5, 0-0, 0-0. And that's just within her last few wins. Her last win was against someone, she was 11-6, and her opponent was 1-2. Looks like her best win was over someone who was 8-4 at the time. So a lot of padding on Rayanne Amanda's record, whereas Katie Saull can go up and down her record, and I mean it's not a great record, but she's been in there with some very tough, experienced opponents. She has some decent wins. I'd say her last win over Gloria Bravo might be her best win. Other than that, nothing too much to brag about either. I'm going to go with Katie Saull here. I've seen more of her. I've seen very little that I could find on Rayanne Amanda. There wasn't a lot. So I got to go with my gut. I got to go with experience here, or at least my experience, having seen Katie Saull fight. I'm going to go with her to win this one. Then we have another Atomweight bout. Marisa Messer-Belenchia taking on Elisandra Lily Ferreira. Ferreira, a newcomer to Invicta FC. She last fought for that, what's it called? Palace Athena up in Canada. Another women's MMA promotion. Belenchia's fought for Invicta a few times now, inside and out. Should make for a good one. Looking at the stats here, the Spider Monkey coming in at 5-1. Lily coming in at 4-2. So Belenchia coming in, riding 2 straight wins. First over Katie Saull from the last fight via split decision a year and 4 months ago in Invicta. And then she last fought for Reality Fighting 7 months ago, picking up a decision. Ferreira, of course, coming in off of a technical decision loss 4 months ago to Anastasia Nikolakakos, and that was an abs. That result was a travesty. I've talked about it before, but that result should not have been what it was. basically a girl got a win off of a headbutt. Before that, she was riding 2 straight wins, both by decision, then a loss before that. Lily is the younger fighter, 24 to 31. Looks like she's slightly taller too, at 5 feet 1 inch, 154 centimeters to 5 foot even, 152 centimeters. However, it looks like Belenchia has the longer arms, possibly wider shoulders at 63 inches, 160 centimeters to 59.4 inches, 151 centimeters for Ferreira. This is going to be an interesting one. I mean, Belenchia's only lost once officially. She does have a loss in the Invicta, the Atomweight Phoenix tournament as well, back in 2021. But before that, her only official loss is in 2019. Whereas Ferreira has tasted defeat twice before. Now, one of them I still say was just absolute BS. But her other wins are about commensurate with her experience level. I believe she was the Nakao Cyborg champion. Yeah, she was the Atomweight champion in Chris Cyborg's promotion down there in Brazil. Should make for an interesting one. As for a pick, I'm going to go with the newcomer. I'm going to go with Lily Ferreira to win this one. Then we have a bantamweight bout. Claire Guthrie moving up to bantamweight to take on Auttumn Norton. This should be a good one. I feel like on a card, an Invicta card that only had one title fight on it, this could easily be like a co-main event. This should be a good one. Grizzly Claire Guthrie coming in at 4-1. Auttumn, the natural Norton, coming in at 2-1 now. Guthrie's riding a 3-fight winning streak. Last defeated Bridget Chase less than a month ago at the last Invicta show. She was also on Invicta, the Ultimate Fighter season 30 last year. She lost to Juliana Miller in the quarterfinals there. But she also has a win over Miller officially. Norton, on the other hand, she took off something like 2.5 years, almost 3 years between fights, but her last fight was 5 months ago. She beat the crap out of Sweet Maria Dukic in a really good comeback fight that I admit I underestimated her on that because of the time away. See, Norton is elder by 1 year, 28 to 27. Guthrie, slightly taller, 5 feet 6 inches, 168 centimeters to 5'5", 165 centimeters for Norton. Guthrie also has the reach, 70 inches, 178 centimeters to 67.5 inch, 171 centimeters. So Guthrie moving up to bantamweight. I believe this is her first time fighting at bantamweight. Let me check here. Flyweight. No, she's fought at bantamweight before, but that was way back in she's fought at bantamweight as an amateur, but hasn't really fought as a bantamweight as a pro. So Guthrie moving up to bantamweight really for the first time, taking on heavy-hitting Auttumn Norton. So Guthrie has a slight height and reach advantage, and she's going to need that reach and use it well to keep Norton away from her. She does not want to let Norton lay hands on her. Norton has legit knockout power in her fists. This is not the type of opponent you want to fight the first time you move up in weight. I'm being honest. Norton has that kind of power. Guthrie's going to want to get this to the ground, I think. Whether or not she can do it is going to be another question. I'm not underestimating Auttumn Norton this time. I'm going with her to win this one. Sticking at Bantamweight, we have Serena DeJesus taking on Olga Rubin. I got to be honest. I think it should be Serena DeJesus challenging for the title this time. I mean, she's on a 4-fight winning streak. The last 2 of those coming by way of Invicta. I don't know why she's not the one challenging for the title. Instead, they're putting her in against a former title challenger that could very well beat her. This is going to be a good fight. And it likely does decide the next bantamweight title challenger. At least it better. Anyway, the Southpaw Outlaw DeJesus coming in at 5-2. Big Bad Olga Rubin coming in at 7-3. DeJesus riding 4 straight, including her last 2 for Invicta. Defeated Lauren Mueller via split decision. I don't know what that one judge that gave Mueller the fight saw. And then her last fight for Invicta was defeated Brittany Cloudy via decision. That was 7 months ago. Rubin last fought 5.5 months ago. Dropped a split decision to the champ, Taneisha Tennant, in her Invicta debut. Before that, she had picked up a split decision win over in Octagon. Let's see. The Bellator veteran Rubin is the older fighter, 33-31. She's also just slightly taller at 5'9", 174 centimeters to 5'8", 173 centimeters for DeJesus. Reach is almost identical, 69.5-inch, 170 centimeters, or 177 centimeters to 69-inch, 175 centimeters for Rubin. So almost identical in size and very good size for the bantamweight division as well. This is going to be a good one. I don't see this ending with a finish. I see this fight going the distance. It's going to be tough. DeJesus is a very aggressive fighter. She's very tough fighter, aggressive, and likes to come in there and just absolutely do work. Rubin is, I believe, going to be her most, well, not her most experienced, but one of her most experienced fighters ever. And the fighter with the most high-level experience. This is it's going to be a good one. The experience factor favors Rubin. The momentum factor favors DeJesus. Personally, I think this one's a toss-up. Be good to see who wins it, though, as I'm honestly not sure. Next, we move to the co-main event Flyweight Championship, the vacant Flyweight Championship. Kristina Williams taking on Ketlen Souza. Bellator veteran versus someone who is fairly new to fighting outside of Brazil in Souza. Should make for a very good one. Both of them no stranger to finishing the fight inside the distance either, which will be good. Taking a look at the stats here, Warhorse coming in at 6-3, Esquentadinha coming in at 12-3. So Souza has 6 more fights, has that experience advantage, over that in-ring experience advantage over Williams. Williams riding a 3-fight winning streak, last 2 wins coming in Invicta, split decision over Florhani, and then a rear naked choke submission win over Liana Perosian. That was 4 months ago. Esquentadinha riding 4 straight wins. Most recent win coming over Auttumn via decision 3 months ago. Before that, her last fight before that was almost a year and a half ago in SFT over Giselle Moeda. Let's see. Williams is the older fighter, 33-27 for Souza. So Souza has youth on her side. Look at this height advantage, though. 5 feet 8 inches, 173 centimeters for Williams, to 5 feet 3 inches, 161 centimeters for Souza. Now, they don't list a reach for Souza, but 67.5 inches, 171 centimeters for Williams. Gotta imagine it's going to be longer than Souza's reach. So Williams should have a height and reach advantage here. All right, look, I'm not going to beat around the bush here. I am Kristina Williams all the way. Sponsored her for the channel. So there's no way I'm picking against her. I can't put my bias aside. And even if I could, I would probably still pick Williams. Williams doesn't have as many fights under her name, but you look at a lot of Souza's wins, and it's again a lot of very Brazilian type of record, in that she beat fighters that, well, she was absolutely supposed to beat, like the record padding. There's some record padding in there. And then you look at some of her losses. Like, she was 6-0 and lost to someone who was 1-3-1. That was back in 2018. Most recently in 2020, she was 8-2 and lost to someone who was 4-1-1. Diane Cardoza, you're not supposed to lose to someone with half your experience. Then she immediately goes back to the padding again. She fights someone who is 1-0, then 0-1. Fights Giselle Mojeda back in 2021, who was 9-4. That's a good win. Then beats Mayu Suwatama. Suwatama was a fairly short notice replacement. So these two were actually supposed to, now these two, Williams and Souza, they were supposed to fight at Invicta 49, and Williams got injured and had to withdraw. So they're fighting now. This time the vacant title is on the line. I'm going with Williams. She has the big show experience. She has, higher level opponent experience. I mean, she's fought former Bellator champion Juliana Velasquez. She has win over Emily Ducote. Granted, some of her losses are against the best fighters she's fought. But that's also early in her career. I mean, I've made no qualms about it that I thought Bellator did her kind of dirty. I'm going with Williams on this one. I just think that overall, her higher level experience is going to get her through. Honestly, out of the main event and this fight, the co-main event, if you were going to bet on a fight getting finished, I would say it would be this one. But I'm going Kristina Williams. So then we move on to the main event, Bantamweight Championship. The champ, Taneisha Tennant, taking on Talita Bernardo. This should be a good one. Probably not the most exciting fight, but it should be good. This probably, this is honestly the most high-level fight on the card, which is befitting a main event title fight. So let's go ahead and get into it. The champ, triple threat, coming in at 5-1. Bernardo coming in at 9-4. Tennant riding 2 straight wins. Defeated Lisa Verzosa for the belt a year and 4 months ago. Then defended it 4.5 months ago, defeating Olga Rubin via split decision. Bernardo riding 3 straight since getting cut from the UFC. Defeated Lucia Pudilova in Octagon. Yana Gadelha via submission 5 months ago for Invicta. And then Katarina Lehner via submission about a month ago for Invicta. So both ladies riding some wins in here. Bernardo is slightly elder at 35 to 33 for Tennant. Tennant's going to have the reach advantage here. 5'7", 170 centimeters to 5'4", 163 centimeters for Bernardo. Tennant also has the reach, 72 inches, 183 centimeters to 68 inches, 173 centimeters for Bernardo. This is going to be good. This is going to be a good one. Bernardo's a finisher. When she can get her opponents to the ground, she can finish them. Tennant, very skilled on the feet. Very skilled on the feet, also tough to take down. Bernardo does not want to stay on the feet with Tennant. That much is obvious. Tennant's longer, she's taller, and she's an outside fighter. It's going to make it very, very hard for Bernardo to get the fight to the ground. Now, if Bernardo can get the fight to the ground, she's going to have Tennant in her wheelhouse. But the big question is going to be, can she get it to the ground? It's going to be very hard. Rubin tried. Rubin actually matched up much better size-wise with Tennant. And now granted, Rubin is not known for, being on the ground, but she wasn't giving up, a size. Actually, Rubin was the bigger fighter in that and had a hard time getting Tennant down and keeping her there. Granted, Bernardo is better on the ground, but she doesn't have the size and she doesn't have the striking prowess to really get in there on Tennant like that. And it's going to be very hard. Now, if you were to ask me which of these two fighters is most likely to finish the other given the opportunity, then it's Bernardo. Bernardo has that killer instinct. Tennant doesn't. In fact, Tennant almost has too much of a cautious instinct for her. Like, we've seen her in fights before where she's had opponents hurt or stunned. And instead of pouring it on and going for the finish, she backs off and resets and just goes back to what she was doing. So if this fight were to end in a finish, or if you were to tell me that this fight were to end in a finish, I would say, well, then it would be Bernardo. But most likely, this fight is going to a decision, and it's going to be Taneisha Tennant. Now, I've said this before. This is Tennant's chance. Tennant is fighting a UFC veteran and someone who has finished her last two opponents. This is a chance for Tennant to really make some noise in this fight. She's got to she has to basically make noise. She has to do something to draw attention in this fight. She has a small but very vocal and dedicated fan base that are constantly wondering, why isn't the UFC picked her up? Why isn't the UFC picked her up? Well, this is her chance to really get on the UFC's radar. And I mean really get on the UFC's radar. She's fighting a UFC veteran here in Invicta in the main event. Taneisha needs to go out there, make some noise, go for a finish. If she gets Bernardo hurt, she gets Bernardo stunned, she needs to pour it on and go for the finish this time. And if she doesn't, well, then there's the answer to that fan base of hers for why UFC hasn't picked her up. She's not a finisher, and she's not one who goes for the finish. And that's just on it. I like I said, I think she is an excellent outside fighter, very good on the feet, has that height and reach, knows how to use it, good counter fighter. Her problem is she's not a finisher, and she lacks a killer instinct. But this is a good time to prove myself and other people wrong and look for it. This is the highest caliber opponent she's fought yet, a UFC veteran. Excuse me, someone who's coming in off of 2 straight wins. She's got to go for it in this one if she ever wants to get out of Invicta and fight for bigger promotions and make more money as a fighter. And she's not getting any younger at 33 either. So I'm picking Tennant to win. But man, she can't just, do her usual, get enough to win and be happy with that. No, she's got to do something here, this fight. So there you have it. The full event preview for Invicta FC 51. It goes down tomorrow night, Wednesday, January 18th, 9 p.m. Eastern Time at Real Works Denver, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, where it's at. You can catch it on Access TV, Invicta FC official Facebook page, also at the Invicta FC official YouTube channel. That's probably all I'll be watching. Also, tentatively scheduling a live fight companion for this event as well. We'll see. That's tentative. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on these bouts in the comments down below. Who are you picking? Let me know in the comments. If you like the vid, please hit that like button. Share the video as well. Get the word out. And while you're at it, go ahead, subscribe to WMAC Now, the best, most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.